The Red River War was a sad time for the Southern Plains Indians. It happened from 1874 to 1875. The war pitted the proud Comanche, Kiowa, and Cheyenne warriors against the blue-coated soldiers of the United States Army. These tribes had long roamed free across the vast plains. They hunted buffalo and lived in harmony with nature. But the white man's hunger for land and gold knew no bounds. The government had promised the Indians a vast territory in the Medicine Lodge Treaty of 1867. This land was supposed to be theirs forever. The treaty was broken almost as soon as the ink was dry. White hunters slaughtered the buffalo herds. Settlers and their railroads pushed further westward. The Indians watched their way of life vanish before their eyes. The stage was set for a final, desperate struggle for survival. The Red River War would determine the fate of the Southern Plains tribes. It would leave an indelible mark on the landscape of the American West. The buffalo were more than just animals to the Plains Indians. They were life itself. Their hides provided shelter and clothing. Their meat sustained the people. Their bones and horns became tools and weapons. When the white hunters arrived, they brought with them a terrible greed. They killed the buffalo by the thousands, leaving their carcasses to rot on the plains. The Indians watched in horror as their lifeblood drained away. The arrival of the railroads only made matters worse. Iron horses brought a flood of settlers eager for land. These newcomers saw the Indians as obstacles to be removed. They drove them from their hunting grounds. They plowed under their sacred burial sites. The government, sworn to protect the Indians, did little to stop the injustice. Tensions simmered like the hot plains wind. The Indians grew increasingly desperate. They had signed treaties in good faith, but their pleas for justice fell on deaf ears. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the very foundation of the West. The simmering resentment finally boiled over in the summer of 1874. A group of Comanche, Kiowa, and Cheyenne warriors, angered by the relentless encroachment on their lands, attacked a wagon train near the Red River. Led by the fearless Quanah Parker, a young Comanche chief, the warriors fought with the fury of cornered animals. The attack on the Warren wagon train, as it came to be known, sent shockwaves through the nation. Newspapers clamored for retribution. The government, already eager to subdue the savage tribes of the Southern Plains, saw an opportunity to assert its dominance. General William Tecumseh Sherman, a veteran of the Civil War, gave a simple order: bring the Indians under control by any means necessary. The army mobilized quickly, sending columns of blue-coated soldiers marching across the plains. The Red River War had begun. The Indians, though outnumbered and outgunned, were determined to fight for their way of life. They knew the vast plains better than any soldier. They were skilled horsemen and fierce warriors. They would make the army pay dearly for every inch of ground. The United States Army, under the command of General Philip Sheridan, devised a brutal but effective strategy to crush the resistance of the Southern Plains tribes. They would wage a war of attrition, targeting the Indians' most valuable resource, their horses. The army launched a series of swift and devastating raids on Indian encampments, driving off their horses and destroying their winter food supplies. The Indians, their mobility crippled, were forced to retreat. They sought refuge in the rugged canyons and mesas of the Texas Panhandle. One such refuge was Palo Duro Canyon, a deep gash in the earth that provided natural protection and a source of water. It was here that the Indians hoped to make their stand. The journey to Palo Duro Canyon was long and arduous, particularly for the women, children, and elderly. The relentless summer sun beat down on them as they fled from the pursuing soldiers. Food and water were scarce, and their hardships only strengthened their resolve to resist.